Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today's lecture topic is neuromuscular junction. These are the lecture objectives. At the end of the lecture, you would be able to define neuromuscular junction and motor unit, discuss the physiological anatomy of neuromuscular junction, define end plate potential and how it is developed, explains the sequence of events at NMJ or neuromuscular junction that causes the transmission of impulse from nerve to the muscle, and discuss the role of acetylcholine esterase at neuromuscular junction in removing acetylcholine. As you know, the skeletal muscle fibers are innervated by large myelinated nerve fibers, and these fibers originate from motor neurons in anterior horns of spinal cord. Each motor neuron leaves the spinal cord and innervates multiple muscle fibers. The number depends upon the type of the muscle. Here you can see in the picture. So all the muscle fibers innervated by a single nerve, or you can say motor neuron, single motor neuron, is known as motor unit. Stimulation of a motor unit or motor neuron causes contraction of all the muscle fibers innervated by that neuron. You can see in the picture that a motor neuron is arising from the anterior horn of the spinal cord and dividing into axon terminals. These are the axon terminals. And the muscle fibers are innervated by it. So this motor neuron, its terminal and the muscle fibers innervated by it all together make a motor unit. Now the number of muscle fiber in each motor unit varies. The motor units of the muscle concerned with fine, graded and precise movements have a smaller number of muscle fibers. For example, laryngeal muscles have 2 to 3 muscle fibers in a per motor unit. Here you can see this motor unit is innervating 3 muscle fibers. Or you can say in the ocular muscles, 3 to 6 muscles fibers are innervated by a motor unit. While the muscles concerned with crude or coarse movement have motor units with large number of muscle fibers. For example, there are about 120 to 165 muscle fibers in each motor unit of muscle of leg and back. Now, when this nerve fiber or the axon comes closer to the muscle, it loses its myelin sheath and divides into many terminal branches. Here you can see the axon and its terminal branches. Each of these axon terminal forms special junction with one or more muscle fiber. Here you can see this is the axon terminal and the terminal branches, and these are making junction with 1, 2, 3 muscle fibers. Now these axon terminal enlarge into a knob-like structure, and that structure is known as terminal button or synaptic knob. Here you can see this. This is the terminal button or synaptic knob, and that contain large number of vesicles of neurotransmitter acetylcholine. This terminal, or you can say the synaptic knob, fits into the shallow depression in underlying muscle fiber. and that makes a junction that is known as neuromuscular junction. So the communication between the nerve and the muscle fiber is called as neuromuscular junction. This junction is also known as myoneural junction, and here the transmission is of chemical type as it is not a anatomical type junction. Here the chemical, that is the acetylcholine, transfer the information from the nerve to the muscle. Now if you take a closer look at neuromuscular junction, this is a single axon terminal. Here you can see axon terminal and the terminal button. This is terminal button, that is the expanded portion containing vesicles. These are the vesicles filled with acetylcholine. In the axon terminal, mitochondria are also present. Not shown in this picture, but they are present, that supply ATP, energy source that is used for the synthesis of this acetylcholine. And acetylcholine is synthesized in cytoplasm of this terminal button and stored in these synaptic vesicles. Now the space between axon, this is the axon terminal button, the space between axon terminal and the muscle fiber, this is the muscle fiber membrane, or you can say sarcolemma. The space between the axon terminal and the muscle fiber membrane is called as synaptic space or synaptic cleft. You can see this is the synaptic space or synaptic cleft. As I have told you, it is not an anatomical connection. So the cleft is around 20 to 30 nanometer wide space. Now the axonal membrane, this is the axon, the axonal membrane, this axonal membrane lining the terminal button, the whole this lining the terminal button of this nerve ending. The axonal membrane lining the terminal button of the nerve ending is known as presynaptic membrane. Presynaptic membrane. Here, voltage gated calcium channels are present. You can see voltage gated calcium channels are open. That means these calcium channel will open when the voltage arise. Now this was the presynaptic membrane. Before, this is the synapse, presynaptic. Now come to the postsynaptic membrane. Postsynaptic membrane, this is the name given to the muscle fiber membrane. This is the muscle fiber membrane. This muscle fiber membrane is the region which is thickened and depressed. This is thickened and you can see that the muscle fiber is depressed here to form a trough or gutter in which this terminal button fits. This is postsynaptic membrane. This whole structure is known as motor end plate. Remember this area, motor end plate. Further, this postsynaptic membrane is thrown into large number of folds. Here you can see these are the folds over here. This postsynaptic membrane is thrown into large number of folds, and these folds are known as subneural clefts. These are known as subneural clefts. These increase the surface area at which transmitter acts. One more thing, the postsynaptic membrane here at junction also contain receptor site. You can see these are the receptor sites for acetylcholine called nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. Here you can see acetylcholine receptor site at the postsynaptic membrane. And this acetylcholine receptor sites, or you can say the channels, are neurotransmitter or ligand gated channels. That is, they will open when the ligand come. What would be that? Yes, that would be the acetylcholine. The matrix of subneural cleft, the subneural cleft matrix contain an enzyme, that is acetylcholine esterase, that can degrade acetylcholine. Here you can see acetylcholine esterase. After the anatomy of neuromuscular junction, let's come to the neuromuscular transmission. That is how NMJ transmits the impulses from nerve to the muscle. First, when a nerve impulse or action potential traveling in the nerve fiber or axon reaches the terminal button. Here you can see the voltage gated calcium channel present on presynaptic membrane open, and calcium enter from the ECF into the terminal button. The elevated level of calcium in the cytosol of terminal button causes fusion of acetylcholine vesicles with presynaptic membrane. Here you can see, and trigger exocytosis of vesicles releasing acetylcholine in the synaptic cleft. This is acetylcholine releasing into the synaptic cleft. The calcium ions are believed to activate calcium calmodulin dependent protein kinase, which in turn phosphorylates synapsin protein that anchor the acetylcholine and free these vesicles from cytoskeleton and draw them near the release site of the presynaptic membrane. And from there, these vesicles empty their acetylcholine by exocytosis. Each vesicle contains around 10,000 molecules of acetylcholine, and at a time about 125 vesicles are exocytosed. The acetylcholine so released diffuses in the synaptic cleft and binds to the nicotinic acetylcholine receptors located on postsynaptic membrane or motor end plate. You know, this area is also known as motor end plate. You can see at number 3, acetylcholine present in the synaptic cleft. This is synaptic cleft, and it is binding to the nicotinic receptors, acetylcholine receptors. You know, these receptors are ligand gated, acetylcholine gated channels. Okay, you can see this is the more closer look. These receptors or channels are made up of protein complex of 5 subunits, 2 alpha, 1 beta, delta, 1 delta and 1 gamma. So the acetylcholine binds to alpha subunit of these receptors and causes conformational change. That conformational change opens the channels and permeability of sodium increases markedly. Here you can see sodium permeability has been increased. When these ion channels open on postsynaptic membrane or end plate, motor end plate area, sodium flow down due to the concentration gradient, causing the depolarization of this area, that is motor end plate. This small potential change or depolarization is called end plate potential. End plate potential is not an action potential, but it is simply depolarization of specialized motor end plate. It is localized, non-propagative, does not obey all or none law and conducted in both directions along the muscle fiber. Here you can see it is going in both directions. Now this end plate potential voltage causes adjacent voltage gated sodium channels to open and cause muscle fiber to depolarize to threshold and fire action potential. Noted, these are the voltage gated sodium channels. Here you can see that open due to the end plate potential voltage. While the end plate potential voltage channels were the ligand gated channels, sodium channels, or the acetylcholine gated channels. Now this EPP open the voltage gated sodium channels, and thus this EPP causes initiation of action potential for muscle contraction. The acetylcholine, once released into the synaptic cleft, continues to activate the receptors. So, it is removed rapidly within 1 millisecond by an enzyme called acetylcholine esterase present in the synaptic cleft. It degrades the acetylcholine into acetate and choline. A small amount of acetylcholine also diffuses out of the synaptic space and is then no longer available to act on the muscle fiber membrane. Just because the significance of is that the rapid removal of this acetylcholine prevents the repeated excitation of the muscle fiber. This slide is for your revision, showing sequence of events which causes transmission of impulse through the neuromuscular junction. Now you know axon terminal of motor neurons form neuromuscular junction with the muscle. First, action potential from the motor neuron. Look at the picture at number 1. Action potential from the motor neuron reaches terminal button. Here, voltage gated calcium channels open. Then what happens? Calcium causes the exocytosis of the acetylcholine. At number 3, acetylcholine binds to receptor sites on motor end plate. That is 4. At number 5, You know, sodium ions now depolarize motor end plate, producing end plate potential. Here you can see end plate potential. Now this local current flow between depolarized end plate and the adjacent muscle membrane brings adjacent areas to threshold by opening, yes, voltage gated sodium channels. Now action potential is initiated. Here you can see at the 8. Action potential is initiated and propagated throughout the muscle fiber. In the end, acetylcholine is removed within millisecond by the most of it by the acetylcholine esterase enzyme. Thank you, students. This is my email address for your queries and the reference books names.